These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Frank 26. There are many chief executive officers of many banks around the world at the U.S. Treasury meeting right now with Sudani, Alak, and Barzani. Also, CEOs of Citibank, Chase Bank, Bank of America are there. We'll also have all of the JP Morgan representatives, Merrill Lynch, all investment companies you can think of. All of them are meeting. The meetings are going on now, and to reference, this is from yesterday, the 16th. This Iraq entourage is here in the United States to meet with their counterparts. All right, Claire has an article, quote, Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani met on Monday, April 15th with U.S. President Biden at the White House, Washington, D.C. Al-Sudani said during the meeting, we are working to move from the military relationship to a full partnership with the United States. All right, Militiaman says Al-Sudani's visit to the White House, we know he's already done that. They brought about 130 people with them. I think they said 3 planes worth. That large motorcade yesterday in WDC was so very telling, and just how important today and tomorrow will be. If you're not excited by now, wake up. Sandy Ingram says Al-Sudani met with the Iraqi community in Washington, D.C. and other American states on the sidelines of his official visit to the United States. Al-Sudani conveyed gratitude to the Iraqi communities in the U.S. and throughout the world, emphasizing that Iraq is for all Iraqis and that the country needs the knowledge, experience, opportunities, and initiatives of Iraqis in the U.S. The Prime Minister indicated the Iraqi government is working on establishing a department for expatriate affairs to be able to communicate effectively with Iraqi community around the world. All right, let's see here. Mark Z via PDK question: do you think the RV will be in April, Mark? Mark says, I think April is still well within sight and is the goal. I'm still being told that, and I believe it. All right, Walking Stick's former Iraqi bank partner, number 1 update. Number 1 is with Sudani. That's why number 1 is in DC right now. He owns 6 banks. 4 of them are in Iraq. Those banks are playing a part of the monetary reform inside of Iraq. Also outside with the private sector, or the private bank satellite banks that are representing the Central Bank of Iraq. They're going to Michigan because Iraqi bank manager is in Michigan. Frank 26 says, we are now in position, in my opinion, that the banks are going to exchange the Iraqi dinar are now on alert. All right, we've got Nader from the Mideast saying, I believe it's going to happen. I believe it's going to change. I believe it's going to happen when it's ready to happen. That's it. When you see the coalition leave, the government of Iraq is sovereign and nobody control it. And when you see a new dinar, that's when the exchange rate will change. Simple as that. All right, Guru Funu Lu says the United States will not, I repeat, will not be leaving Iraq now or in the future. The power vacuum will be filled by Iran, and only a fool would want the U.S. to leave Iraq. Mark Z via PDK says the group leaders I know are under a blackout, will not share. I think this is a very good sign. We need at least a third to a half of historic bonds paid before we go. So my logical mind is saying the 22nd is the soonest we could see something. I could be wrong. It could absolutely go anytime, even in the next 2 minutes. It would not surprise me. All right, Claire, article number 1, Kurdish MP, Sudanese success in the dollar crisis is the most important step in his visit to Washington. Article number 2, Alawi, the Prime Minister's dialogues with the U.S. Treasury will address the government's steps in financial reform. All right, Militiaman says the final provisions of the SFA are on the table. Security is set. The economic aspect is underway. We're going to watch Al-Sudani finish up his signing of contracts. I can't imagine how are you going to fund all of this with an exchange rate of 1310 IQD to the USD? And how is it that you've said that Iraqi dinar, Mr. Al-Sudani, is stronger than the dollar? Lastly, we have Frank 26 saying both Abadi and Maliki were both turned down by the presidents of the United States of America in Washington, D.C. Abadi was treated like a fool by Obama. The very same thing happened to Maliki. This time is a different story. It is a historical event.